So if you deal with anxiety before bed, first of all, know that you are not alone. It's probably one of the most frustrating aspects of anxiety, not being able to fall asleep, not being able to stay asleep, or just waking up multiple times or waking up earlier than you need to. It's exhausting. And that whole process by itself will cause further anxiety, and you find yourself caught up in this vicious cycle. The first thing you need to know, guys, is that you're not alone. You can find at least a little bit of comfort in that, but I'm going to share with you my experience, why this is happening, and I'm going to give you some tips to hopefully help you break that cycle. Just know that you got to be consistent with those tips, all right? But you know what time it is. Smash that like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you struggle with anxiety before bed, and if you want to share some tips that have helped you, share them down below. It could help somebody else. If you're new here, subscribe, be a part of the family. I make tons of videos like this to help you with your anxiety. So my issues with sleep started right after I had my first major panic attack. I started having nocturnal panic attacks. This lasted for a couple weeks before I started to develop straight up insomnia. With the nocturnal panic attacks, they were terrifying for me. I had heart anxiety, so I thought there was something wrong with my heart. So this really made me fear that there was something wrong with my heart. Like, I'm in the dead freaking sleep and I'm waking up and my chest is hurting and my heart's palpitating. I didn't understand that you could have panic attacks in the middle of your sleep. So if you've never had a nocturnal panic attack, be happy. They're terrifying. I'd wake up with a racing heart. It'd be palpitating, chest pain, dizziness, disoriented, DPDR. You named a symptom, I had it with these attacks. So that was happening 1 to 2 times. And then I developed the association, and I think this is where a lot of us go wrong. We start to dread nighttime, right? I did. And what we do, and we do it like, we're not doing it intentionally, but we're telling the subconscious that nighttime is a problem. So therefore, the subconscious then really lets you know when nighttime's almost here, or if it's nighttime, it's letting you know, hey, I'm scared. Remember when you told me that this was a problem? Well, I'm gonna let you know extra right now that it's terrifying me, right? So that's what's happening. We let the subconscious know that nighttime is a problem. Therefore, it continues to let us know that it's scared, and it sends us signals that we're in danger. So the nocturnal attacks started to increase, and then I started to just develop downright insomnia where I couldn't even fall asleep. I would have the restless leg. I would focus on my symptoms, so my symptoms would get louder, and by louder I mean more intense. You are putting a lot of negative energy and focus because you don't have the distractions, you don't have the people around you, you're not as busy, so you can focus on those symptoms, and they intensify when you put that focus and negative energy on them. My negative thoughts were really loud at night. I could hear them a lot better. I couldn't it's not easy to distract yourself with other people or other things in the middle of the night, so that was a problem. I had a lot of panic attacks at night. I had a fear of dying alone. I had a fear of dying by myself, where somebody couldn't help me get to the hospital or call 911 for me. So this led to me staying at the ER quite a few nights, spending the night in my car. And a lot of nights I just went into the ER, to the hospital, because I thought I was dying. I would call a couple of friends, my mom, my ex-girlfriend at the time, but it'd be like 2-3 o'clock in the morning and they wouldn't answer. So it was by far the worst time of the day for me. Was probably about that 7 o'clock, right before it started getting dark. My heart rate would start going up, my chest would start to tighten up, and I'd start having chest pains, and I'd start getting worried about what the night was going to bring. And this process happened over and over again. It got to the point where I wasn't getting much sleep at all for 2 days straight. Then I would crash the third day, sleep like 15, 17 hours, and then this would happen over and over and over again. So nighttime was brutal for me. Nighttime was brutal. So what are some of the reasons that we have anxiety at night? Okay, so the first one, if you're watching this and you deal with anxiety at night consistently, you probably already developed an association with anxiety and nighttime. You've told the subconscious, basically, yes, you should warn me every time it gets dark outside that something is wrong, because I've shown you that something is wrong. It may have started out as a random occurrence, with the subconscious sending you panic or something at night, We showed it that we were terrified, so the subconscious just thinks that it should keep on letting you know that something's wrong at night. So basically, it's just a pattern. It's a habit of the subconscious to alert you at night. So that's the main reason, okay? But there's some other things that feed into it. I think it's in human nature to associate darkness and nighttime with fear and negativity. So there's that. There's less distractions. There's less interactions, right? Most of us aren't working at night. There's not as much noise, as much traffic. The birds aren't chirping. People aren't talking. Our loved ones, our friends are trying to sleep. It's not easy to talk to them late at night. They're not going to answer their phones. And when you're not at work, or you don't have those interactions, or you don't have those distractions, what do? We start putting our focus in on our symptoms, and our symptoms get louder. Our negative thoughts, they get louder, and we start listening, okay? Then the panic and the symptoms get worse. So I think just the lack of distraction and interaction and the ability to socialize, that can be a problem. And for me, I was so terrified of being alone at night and having a heart attack and somebody not knowing, right? I was terrified that I wasn't going to be able to call 911. That's why some nights I just spent the night at the ER, but I felt like if somebody else wouldn't answer their phone, if somebody else wouldn't wake up, I would just die. So that was a huge issue for me. It was hard for me to be alone in general, but to be alone at night, it was a real freaking struggle. So that was a huge issue for me. Also, whenever we're trying to go to sleep at night, we are basically trying to get still. And being still in our own negative thoughts and in our symptoms is extremely hard. It's a real grueling test that we all must overcome. I'll just be for real. You have to face that fear. But being still in your symptoms and your negative thoughts is hard. And what most of us do is we feed into it with fear, and those thoughts and those symptoms get louder, like I've already mentioned, right? So I just think the fact that we're trying to be still so we can fall asleep, I think that aggravates the subconscious. It's trying to tell you, get up, get out of there, and you're just trying to lay there. So basically you're in that battle. So how do you get this to stop? Ultimately, it's you showing the subconscious that nighttime isn't a problem, which means you cannot react in fear whenever the subconscious sends you these symptoms. Because when you react in fear, you're just telling the subconscious that it needs to continue to warn you at night. Of course, this is easier said than done. It's hard to not react in fear when you have symptoms or some of these terrifying thoughts or these panic attacks. But not only do you have to react in a different way, right? Either challenging the symptoms or being nurturing to your subconscious, you have to do it consistently enough to prove to your subconscious. You changing your mindset tonight and starting tonight, it's a great declaration, it's a great start, but you're not going to break down an association in just one night. And people don't like to hear that, and they'll do this for a couple days and then they'll give up on it. I see it time and time again. You have to prove to your subconscious that nighttime isn't a problem, and you're not going to do that even in a few nights. You have to do it every single night, at least for a month, okay? So you have to be in this for the long haul. So starting tonight is an opportunity. That's the mindset. That's how I broke down all my associations, whether it be driving, going to work, being in crowded places, having something in the future come up that I was nervous about. Any of the associations or triggers that I had, I broke them down by consistently showing my subconscious that they weren't problems, and by viewing them as opportunities to show my subconscious that they weren't problems. Tonight's your chance to start that. Tonight's your chance to show your subconscious that these messages and negative thoughts are not needed at this time. I can handle it, okay? So you have to start that process tonight. These are opportunities, okay? Tonight is an opportunity. So you need that mindset change, that perspective change. You also need an evening routine. Hell, you need a daily routine, okay? I have a whole full detailed daily routine in my course, but at night you need to actually start winding down probably a lot earlier than you usually do. That's meaning you need to be eating earlier than you probably do, a few hours before bed. Your body doesn't need to worry about digestion whenever it's trying to go to sleep. And I know for me, I had a horrible habit of eating right before bed, and a lot of those symptoms that I would get associated with my IBS and stuff would trigger me at night too. And I'm sitting there focusing on my symptoms. I got heartburn, indigestion, my GERD, I got gas, all these things happening. And you throw that on top of all the other symptoms, chest pain and all that stuff, I was a mess. So you want to start eating healthy and eating earlier. You got to drop all the stimulants, no sugar, no caffeine, no tobacco. That's just going to keep you up. Exercise is great, but you need to do it morning to early afternoon. Don't rev up your heart just an hour before going to bed. I know some of you love to work out at night. That could be keeping you up later, okay? Try to do some reading. Get an anxiety book, okay? Or some self-help books, right? Or if you just like to, just read fantasy books, whatever. Do something like that. Just settle down. I know reading for me, I love reading, but it's the equivalent of taking a Benadryl for me. So reading is something that can help you out. Get away from the bright screens, guys. Don't read on your phone. Read a book. Get a low light lamp, all right? Stay off the laptop. Turn the TV off, okay? I know a lot of you want to use those for distractions because of your anxiety, but it's going to keep you up at night as well, okay? Meditation, mindfulness. You need to have about 45 minutes sometime in the late evening of that so you can do some mindfulness. You can get an app. You can do some YouTube guided meditations. There's affirmation videos. There's gratitude videos. You could do a little bit of journaling at night. There's just tons of different things that you can be doing to improve your sleep, okay? But the main one is the mindset change. Mindset change. Also, for a bonus, and probably over half of you will say hell no to this, but take a cold shower. It'll ironically help you with sleep, okay? But if you watch this far, guys, go down below in the comment section, and in all caps, I want you to put, tonight is an opportunity. Tonight is an opportunity. But guys, go down in the description in the first pinned comment. There's gonna be tons of resources. My course, Elite Anxiety Bootcamp, that's helping so many people with their recovery process. I want you to be a part of that. I mentioned the detailed routine that was in there. Go get that. It's gonna show you what I did from the moment I woke up until I went to sleep. It's my step-by-step blueprint on how I overcame panic disorder, health anxiety, and generalized anxiety disorder. It's helping so many people. I want you to be a part of that course, so go get that. Online therapy is down below. You can do it on the phone, the laptop, the PC. You don't even have to leave the house. So if you've never tried therapy, you can actually try that out today. My coaching info, my Instagram, my Snapchat, my Twitter, my TikTok, Facebook groups, all that's down below. Be sure today to join all those if you haven't. Please like this video if you got value, and please subscribe if you're new. And if you are subscribed, do me a favor. It's so easy. Hit that notification bell so you can get updated when I put these videos out. I didn't make a video yesterday, super sick, so I'm sorry about that. I'm a little bit better today, so that's good news. I'm also going to put a video right here, so go check that out. And until next time, guys, I love you all and keep fighting.